After school, we take to the field to help raise funds for the Regina Intercollegiate Football League. Success stories spanning decades.
Well, this program began in 1954, and the initial person responsible was a Dr. Ben Buchhalter, who was a member of our club, and he took a holiday down into the United States, saw a high school football program there that very much impressed him. So he came back to Regina and decided to initiate this program with our club. At the time, George Bothwell was a president of our club, and he set up a meeting with the High School Athletic Association, and eventually a partnership was formed between the two groups, and then in 1954 the program began, and the 4 teams involved at that time were Luther, Campbell, Central, and Campion. And since then it has grown and nurtured by the Kiwanis and the RHSAA, and today it's reputed to be one of the best high school football programs in Canada.
Presently there are 13 football programs in 2 categories in Regina. Each program probably has between 35 and 50 athletes. So that ranges from grades 9 to 12. Each school has a different way of funding them, but they would not be able to run their program without the recouping of money at the gate, and that is all because of the Kiwanis. They've developed a formula that's based on the number of season tickets they sell in their school and the amount of gate that is collected throughout the season. And that money then goes back to the football programs and allows them to run high school football. And without that, they would not be able to afford to run high school football. Initially, we did a lot of stuff. We did the yardsticks, we did the ticket sales at the gate and so on, and we even did the broadcasting in the booth, and we were very much involved, including in security. And initially the teams played in their own schoolyard, which was mostly gravel and gopher holes, and then they moved over to Mount Pleasant, which was a big move. And we even had a commentator, Jim Grissenwaite, who at that time was with CK, and he did the game program. So that this was the beginning, and then as time went on, as we moved up, I think it was in the 70s, we moved into Taylor Field. And of course, then security became a little bit more onerous, and the duties of the Kiwanis were reduced because of the size and the number of schools involved. Of course, the schools increased considerably in that period of time. So that those were some of the duties that we did, and we still do the financing and the gate control with the selling and taking of tickets, plus the coordination with the association and in terms of organization. For the commissioner to try and run the gate, and without the help of the Kiwanis, would almost be impossible. So their goodwill and their willingness to invest in scholarships and back into our youth in our high schools across the city is something that can't really be explained. Our coaches do a pretty good job at the beginning of each year. They talk about the Kiwanis and how important they are to high school football, so the kids get a perspective. But I think it's the modeling, the volunteering that the Kiwanis do is one of the most important parts of the high school football program, is that their willingness just to give back to a community, and kids see that, and hopefully they'll model that in their future life. The schedule is it goes right from the beginning of the school year into the first week in November when playoffs take place. And the number of games, I'm not sure of that, but every game we have a minimum of 3 people at the games in order to man the gate. And then, of course, the background also with the organizational aspect of it and the financial aspect of it requires quite a bit of manpower as well, away from the game, away from the field.
Well, my favorite project since we merged with the Wascana Club 2 years ago, I have to say, is the high school football program where we take admission and dealing with youth. And I find that you deal with the youth, you stay young.
We were packing up one night and the Kiwanis were leaving the gate, and I was cleaning up at the end of the night, and it was the Kiwanis Bowl, which we had started for teams that hadn't made the playoffs but wanted to play one more game so that they could end their season on a positive note. So we had played that game, and there was a team that was playing and they hadn't won a game all year. And luckily for them, they happened to overcome a deficit and won their first game in the Kiwanis Bowl. And they were so excited. And as we were packing up and we were walking to our cars, we heard them singing songs on the bus as the bus turned down towards the Louvain. And they didn't care that they'd only won one game. All they cared about is that they had won their last game. And those types of experiences don't happen without the good nature of the Kiwanis and all the contributions that they had made, even when it was for a nothing type of contest that they were willing to donate the Kiwanis Bowl to. So that's a great memory I have.
When you look at the annual program and you see the number of graduates of the high school football program that have gone on to college and junior and on to the CFL and even to the NFL, it makes you feel pretty good that these people are going on furthering their career in the sport, and that to me I think is quite significant.
One of the biggest things that the Kiwanis give to our community is the sense of volunteerism. And parents, when they come through the gates, they see that. Kids are given an explanation of that at the beginning of the year. And there are scholarships that kids can apply for. And without that money, many kids would not be able to afford to go to university and to their post-secondary. I know Jack talked a bit about how proud he was of how we've developed great football players, and they've moved on to bigger programs, university programs, CFL teams, and I'm certainly proud of that too. But I'm proud of the people that they've become, and that's every kid that's on the team is given the opportunity to grow as an individual. So it's not always the best kids, but every kid is benefiting from the Kiwanis and the effort, the time and effort that they're putting into high school football.
I played football in high school, and unbeknownst to me, Kiwanis were in the background making that happen and making that run.
It makes me a little bit sad because kids don't really understand the contributions of a Jack Huber and the 65 years that he's contributed to high school football, and I wish they could grasp that, but when you're 15 years old, sometimes that's hard to do. We need to get a sense of volunteerism within our community, and that, I think, as a whole is lacking. People are just not willing to give up their time. Everybody's so busy, but we're not going to give up. We're going to still try and recruit Kiwanis members and show them the benefits of being a good volunteer, and hopefully we can teach that to our youth. And I think Jack elaborated on that as one child at a time, and through the great programs with the Kiwanis, we're able to develop our youth into a productive member of society in Canada. So there's a much broader picture of being a volunteer and how important being a volunteer can be.
Life is bigger than just one, but one can make a difference.